Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor. I'm the man on Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Um, this morning, again, like the other day, I woke up and on the radio I was hearing about a review because people are particularly pissed off with CEOs in big companies earning lots of money. Um, and this in itself is fine, and there's some review going on. I didn't catch the specifics. I said it was just a passing thing on the radio this morning. But one of the things that struck me was that in addition to just reviewing the the wages of these individuals and seeing about the ways in which they conduct their business, and to an extent seemingly to see why companies like Sports Direct and whatever else where they've had problems recently, see if there are any if there's any causation between how much people are paid, how insular their top um, employees or owners are, and seeing if there's a link there. But one of the things that sprang out to me was that they also mentioned that they're going to be investigating the gender balance of these teams, and relative to me talking, albeit briefly, about meritocracies yesterday. Um, I don't understand why. I mean, when I worked in business, I met people at the top of the chain, um, in who were both male and female in the um, various industries that I worked in, and I can tell you right now that ultimately they're either really great and approachable people who want to invest in the people around them. They are somewhat scared of the position that they're in because they're under a lot of pressure, and as a result, they will occasionally do favors. They'll occasionally take favorites and so on to try and keep themselves more secure. But overall, they mean well. Or you've got the cutthroat assholes who will try and destroy your life and use you as some kind of automaton to ensure that their business runs and that they get paid. So yeah, I can understand why people would be upset when these people get paid an awful lot of money and all they do is step on people in one particular instance, one particular demographic of these people. But at the same time, I met men and women in all three of those different positions. Like, I met really, really vicious and miserable people, but gender wasn't the thing that mattered. Um, people, you just need to take one look at stuff on the internet these days, and you can see that it's not just one kind of person who treats people badly. There are, you can't say that it's just this race of people or just this gender or just people that work in this industry or people at the top of the chain or people at the bottom of the chain or politicians or whatever else. The whole human race is just filled with nuance. There's no extreme. There are no definitives in regards to like people, unless you are singling out one individual person and going, that guy's a good guy, or that guy's an asshole, or that girl's a good girl, or that girl's an asshole, or whatever. Unless you're being very, very specific and you literally collar one person and go, this person is the way that I am describing them. And often, here is the proof as well, because just throwing around accusations don't get you anywhere, does it? You can throw around as many accusations as you like, and it won't make the slightest bit of difference unless you can like back it up. Which is again where the why this review is going to cost money, and it's going to cost people time at work, and when they could be doing something more productive. And like looking into the wages side of things, fair enough, but what's the government going to, what are people going to do when you've got these companies then being, I don't know, maybe told by the government that they're paying them too much and that X, Y, and Z needs to happen because it's terrible. And yet then you can turn around, those companies who aren't necessarily beholden to our government, they could be from anywhere, And they could turn around and go, but you pay your own civil servants and MPs, who are literally servants of the people, you pay them almost as much as we pay ourselves in some instances. So, you know, how can you criticize us? You know, the hypocrisy there would be huge, because you've got people in government who are you know, there was the scandal a few years back in regards to MP expenses. You've got civil servants who are not doing especially difficult jobs, who are in the top 1-2% of people earning in the UK. That's, you know, for what? You know, those people could be happily moved around or replaced by people who would take half that to do the same job. Some people who do take half that or less to do the same job. But this does bring us onto the much larger issue of wage inequality in a more general sense anyway. Yeah, there are a lot of people at the top of the chain in various companies, in government, in charities, who earn a stupid amount of money. But the thing is, I can't fault those people. The world runs pretty solidly on a kind of carpet of money, if you like, and one of the biggest issues I see is that there's lots of people criticizing, I don't know, a CEO who's been working in a company for 40, 50 years, and they're at the top of the chain and they've done well. Well, yeah, well, if they started off at the bottom of the chain and worked their way up, then, and now they're earning huge amounts of money, good for them. They put the hard work in. You know, at one point, that's what I hope to do. Granted, after I was in that environment for a while, I decided it wasn't for me. You know, whilst I can be ruthless and whilst I can be kind of cutthroat in what I do, I try very hard not to be, because, you know, I know full well how miserable that can be, both for the person doing it because they are left without anyone, and for the people around that person. But it's like you've got those people who, they did their work, fair enough. Got nothing against them. Enjoy your earnings, fair dues. But in, you know, one of the most highlighted people at the moment, Donald Trump, who took a small loan from his father of $1 million, something like that, and you know, it's like he has never really worked a day in his life. Seemingly, he's not done anything substantial to go from point A to point B. It's been demonstrated numerous times that he would have earned more money if he had made better decisions. Oh well. But you've got a pretty substantial case there for going, you know, he's very, you know, he's come from an advantaged place and he's gone into, you know, continued along that path. But at the same time, do I feel that he's a bit of a joke? Yes. Is it worrying that he's potentially going to be at the head of one of the most powerful countries on the planet? Yeah, kinda. Is it somewhat depressing that someone like that has so much wealth and access to things? To a degree. Should he not have that? No. He should, if it was granted to him by his parents and that's what he's chosen to do with it, then it's entirely up to him. You know, you can't prevent things like that. But then when you're, so, you know, that's the top of the chain dealt with in regards to people in the corporate world. But then let's look at the civil world. the public domain. Should MPs who, especially in a representative democracy like the UK, should they get paid as much as they do, when seemingly, in a lot of different cases, they aren't willing to do the job that they are paid to do? Civil servants, should senior civil servants get paid as much as they do when they are doing exactly the same job as someone in the private sector who's getting paid less than half as much as they are? That's a bigger issue, I feel, because surely if you're doing, there are only a certain number of jobs available, but if you've got one person doing, I don't know, a simple management role who's in the top 2%, and then you've got someone who's, again, in a top management role who's doing better than most, but still, having real difficulty in, say, buying a house, or, setting themselves up so that they can have a family, or make sure that they'll be comfortable when they retire, or things like that, then I feel that that's something that could be dealt with. And I'm not saying that the government should put money into those other people, but obviously having secure state pensions, unlike what we've seen in recent years where they haven't been in any way secure, or having, lowering the pay for those civil servants so that they're maybe not incentivized to be greedy and like, if again, one of the things that I've kind of thought about long and hard is, if you took away the money aspect from being an MP, and as a result, would you then get the best people for the job instead, and the people that cared about the job and cared about the country most, compared to the people that are there for the money and the connections and the self-promotion? I'd like to think so. So, drop what civil servants and MPs are being paid, and maybe we'd see a more substantial difference. I'd like to think for the better. But again, this is my opinion. And there's so much more that I could say about wages in general, and the way that they are perceived, which I'll probably do in another video, because I'm, at least in the way at least in regards to the way that they're perceived, that's something that that really bugs me, because that's something that I've had to talk and coach people through, because they don't seem to realise the reality of the situation, because firstly, it's not promoted by the press, and secondly, the data is almost always misinterpreted. But yeah, I'm curious as to what you guys think. Tell me in the comments down below, what do you think about CEOs getting paid so much? What do you think, and so on? Are you with me in thinking, well, if they've worked their way up, or if it's been left to them and it's their money, then that's up to them? What do you think about the whole civil servants and MPs, or members of your government being paid so much when they don't necessarily always represent the best interests of the country, and where they are often caught with their pants around their ankles, both figuratively and literally in some instances? Tell me what you think. If you found this video interesting, if you liked it, please subscribe for more. Give me a like if you agree. If not, then fair enough. But yeah, otherwise, have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.